Hi everyone, welcome to Lola's Frugal Life. This is episode number 41. Today's episode is going to be on having a frugal mindset and how to develop it and things you'll notice as it gets more developed. So just listen to a few quick words from our sponsor and we'll get right into today's episode. Okay, so welcome to today's episode. As I said, this is going to be on having a frugal mindset. Before we get into the details of this episode, like I always do on my weekly Monday show, I'm going to be giving you a frugal tip of the week. So this week, my tip is to try to cut back on meat in your menu when you're with certain dishes, like certain meals. The meat is kind of like the main dish, which is fine. You can't really cut back on it. Like if you're having a steak or whatever, like if you're making chicken tenders, it's kind of like the main dish. But something I recently started doing is, if you've listened to any of my meal planning episodes, you know I do like a Chipotle night every other week. And it's kind of like, I do like broiled chicken, I do rice, beans, cheddar cheese, sour cream, salsa, all that kind of stuff. And we do like Chipotle type bowls. But one thing I started doing is I used to use 2 chicken breasts to make that meal for my family of 5. And I would like cut it up and broil it, you know, and that would be part of the bowl that we would make. So I recently started using just 1. So basically those 2 chicken breasts now make 2 meals instead of 1 meal. And what I did is I just cut it up like much smaller. So I found that nobody really cared. Like when you're doing like a bowl or some kind of dish like that where the meat is just kind of like another topping, you don't really need that much. And it wasn't like I was like, okay, everyone, we're going to have less meat now. Like it wasn't even like that. I just made less and I cut it smaller and it really had 0 impact. There was still plenty, it's just one of the toppings. And I think when there's larger pieces, you tend to put more on just because, say if you put 3 larger pieces on, or you might just put 3 smaller pieces on. So that's my frugal tip. Like kind of think about the meat because that's usually the most expensive part of the meal. And in certain meals, if there's any way you can potentially cut that back and maybe get 2 meals out of it instead of 1. So that's what we started doing. I was kind of like excited about it because I'm like, oh, that's great. Every time I buy this for this meal, I can make 2 meals out of it now instead of 1. So that's my frugal tip of the week. So let's get into this mindset episode. I'm really excited about this one because it's something I'm really passionate about. I love talking about mindset in general and especially frugal mindset. So if you're not familiar with mindset, basically what your mindset is kind of like the framework that you follow to approach things in life, how you think about things, how you approach things. So if you look up mindset, there's all different kinds of topics related to this. There's positive mindset, frugal mindset, a learning mindset. There's all different types of mindsets that people talk about and focus on. So this episode is on having a frugal mindset. So what is a frugal mindset? I was reading this one article and it kind of described it as having a mindset of planning. And I thought that was a really great way to describe it because it totally ties in to being frugal because you're planning what you do with your money. I love planning and I love being frugal, so it kind of clicked to me. I was like, wow, that makes sense because I'm totally a planner and I love all things about planning. And this is basically being frugal is planning and being careful about and being intentional about what you're doing with your money. So I thought that was a good description. Basically what you're doing is rather than practicing instant gratification and just going out and just spending your money like it doesn't matter, you just see something, you buy it. Someone with a frugal mindset would not do that. You wouldn't purchase things on a whim because they're not usually the best choices. You would really think about what you want to buy and plan and save for it. And, when you have a frugal mindset, it's important for you to get the most value out of your financial resources. So like I said, you're really intentional with your money. You want to make sure that if you're buying something with your money, which is a limited resource, that you're getting the best that you can get for it, and that it's something that you really value and really want. You know, like if you're out in Target and you see like a cute little sign that says like, welcome summer or whatever, you know, it might be cute. You might want to just throw it in your cart and buy it, and then you come home and you're just like, did I really need that? I mean, it's cute and everything, but like, do you really love it? Do you really need it? That's something small, but it's another thing to clean. It's just those types of things. Like if it's something that you were like, okay, I really want a cute summer sign, I'm going to go to the store and really look for one that I really love. That's different. But if you had no intention of buying it and you just happen to walk into the store and you just grab these things, that's not being intentional with your money, and that would not be someone with a frugal mindset. So basically, how do you develop a frugal mindset? So if you're trying to become more frugal, one of the simplest things to start with is start saying no more often to those little types of things. Say you're driving home and you know, you maybe want to run in and get like a bottle of Diet Coke or something, I don't know, because you just feel like having a soda or whatever. You're going to run into like the convenience store and pay like $2 for a little Diet Coke, or you know, pick up like a snack or whatever. I don't know, but you're 5 minutes from home. You could just get a snack when you get home. That's, you know, some people argue on this. Some people say, oh, the latte isn't what kills your budget. I disagree with that, but it's different for everybody. To me, I found that all those little choices make a huge difference, and it all adds up. It makes a difference. So someone with a frugal mindset is going to think about those things and say no more often if it's not something that they really want or really need. To your kids too, like my kids, we used to go to this one shopping center that had a Starbucks in it, and they would go crazy when they were like, I mean, they still kind of will sometimes, but they're like older teens now. But when they were like younger teens, they would be like, they'd see the Starbucks, can we please go? Can we please go? And they would drive me crazy wanting to go to the Starbucks to get drinks. So I would take them like kind of, not a lot, but like kind of more often than not when we went out together and they would ask. And, you know, if you think about it, like if you say no to that, say if they asked me 2 times a month and I said no to that 1 time a month, that would be $120 by the end of the year that I didn't spend on Starbucks drinks. If I said no both times, that'd be $240, because, you know, you take 2 kids in, it's going to be at least $10. So the drinks are like $5 each at least. So that would be $240 that I could have for whatever. Like we could go out to the movies like 4 times or more, really, because we go to the matinee and we bring our own snacks and everything. So just think about like, what could you do with that money other than spending it on those types of things? And I'm not saying like to say no always. I mean, sometimes it kind of makes it more special when you do those things as a treat rather than just like, oh yeah, we just go and blow our money on whatever we want, whenever we want. That's kind of having that frugal mindset. Like when you're going to spend money, it should be something, even if it's something little as Starbucks, like make it something special. Like my one daughter got a really good report card recently, so I took her to Starbucks and I let her get a drink. So it made it more like a special occasion rather than just like, oh yeah, we're out, we're going to go buy these expensive coffee drinks every time we leave the house. So just, you know, think about saying no to those little things. Or if maybe someone's going out to dinner and they invite you and you don't have the money for it, or it's not something you want to spend your money on right now, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say it's not in your budget right now. People sometimes think that saying that you're on a budget means you're like you're financially struggling or you're poor or whatever. That is not what being on a budget means. To me, I think being on a budget means you're smart. You're using your money for what you want to use it for. So don't be afraid to just say, you know, no, I can't go on this trip with you guys today, or you know, no, my kids aren't going to go to the boardwalk with you today because we just don't have the money for it, or whatever. So just don't be afraid to say no. Another tip for helping develop a frugal mindset is start really thinking about the purchases you're making. When you pick up something to purchase it, really think about it. Like, is this something that's going to be of value to me? Is this something that I'm going to really want to use? Or is it just like a cute little drink cup that like looks cute in the store, but then when you throw it in the dishwasher a couple times, it's going to start falling apart? Like, like sometimes you go into Target, they have like those seasonal things, or wherever you shop, like maybe seasonal plates or whatever. I don't know, like just, the things you go in, you go to Target to buy one thing and you come out $100 later. Stop letting that happen. That's usually all under your control. If you didn't go to the store that day, you wouldn't have spent that money. So go there, buy what you need, practice buying what you need, reward yourself, like be proud that you went in and bought what you need and left. I've gotten so good at this, I really never go into a store and come out with extra stuff. I used to always. Every time I would go to Costco or BJ's or Target or wherever, I would come out like hundreds of dollars later and think like, what the heck just happened? But after practice and really going in and just buying what you needed, you can really make a big impact on your life by really thinking about what you want. So just really think about what you're putting in your cart. Is it there what you came for? Is it what you came to the store for? And do you really need it? And do you really need it in your house too? This kind of ties in with like minimalism too. I find I might do a separate episode on that. I'm not really sure, but you just kind of start to develop that mindset of like, do I really need these things? Do I really need to spend my money on these things? So yeah, just kind of really start practicing thinking about your purchases and stop spending money on things that you don't really need. Another tip to help develop a frugal mindset is to start putting more time into considering if you should wait on a purchase. These are usually like larger ticket items, but if you need, say if like your dishwasher is not like the best, but it still works. Some people will just be like, oh, my dishwasher stinks, I'm going to go out and buy a new one. But if it's still serving its purpose, it might not be like the greatest, but it's still working and you can get by. If you can afford to go out and buy a new one and you want a new one, then obviously go ahead. But if it's going to put you in a position where you're going to need to go into debt, or you're going to need to buy a cheaper version, like a cheaper model because you can't afford it yet, like really think about, should I wait more time on this? Can I go another 6 to 12 months with this dishwasher that we currently have and just deal with it? Maybe I need to just rinse the dishes better before I put them in because it's not working as great as it used to. Really think about those purchases and hold out. If waiting 6 to 12 months means getting a much better dishwasher or being able to save up the cash to purchase one rather than putting it on a credit card, just see if you can wait. A lot of times if you really, really think about it, you can often wait. But a lot of times people just don't take the time to think about it. They'll just run out and buy it and not really consider the financial impact until afterwards when it's too late. So that's something to start thinking about more when you're trying to develop a frugal mindset. And then the last item I have as a note is that, as far as practicing and developing this mindset, it takes time to realize that being frugal is not a bad thing. A lot of people think that being frugal is like denying yourself of things and, not allowing yourself to have fun. And that could be the furthest from the truth. It's really all about appreciating what you have and making smart choices with your money. It's not about saying, oh, I'll never spend money on anything, or I'm not going on vacation, or I'm not going out to dinner. It's not about any of that. It's if I want to go out to dinner, I'm going to save up for that or make sure I have money in my budget for the week to go out to dinner and make sure that that's what I want to spend my money on. Like, do you feel bad because you went out to dinner because you spent all that money on dinner? Well, then that's not something that you value. If you leave the dinner and you're like, oh, that was great, that was such a nice experience, then that's fine. But being frugal is about knowing where your money is going and making smart choices with your money. So that's some tips on how to develop the frugal mindset. So what are some things you're going to notice as you're developing this frugal mindset? So one thing I saw that I thought was really funny, it said frugal people don't know the Joneses. And I definitely find that that's true. People with enormous houses, luxury cars, expensive things, the more frugal you become, the less impressive those things become. The more you look at them and think, is that really necessary? Not to judge those people at all. I mean, there is nothing wrong with having nice things. If you have the money for it and that's what you want, that's totally fine. I totally think it's great. I mean, that's what you want to get to. You want to have those nice things that you value. But the thing is that a lot of times, a lot of those people have these really big things and fancy stuff, and they're in tons of debt. So is it really worth it? Like, having that debt burden, is that really worth having those big expensive things? It's not to me. I'd rather have less and enjoy what I have and not be in financial trouble trying to get out of debt. Like, one of my daughters, she'll talk about like, oh, this friend's rich, or that, this kid I know is rich, and I try and like explain to them that just because someone has big fancy things does not mean they're rich. Like, a lot of people are faking it. There's so many people out there that are in so much debt and they have all these big fancy things and they're struggling to make their payments every month just so that they can have these fancy things. And as you become more frugal, you'll see that more, and you'll notice it more, and it just makes you less and less likely to want to be that way. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with wanting nice, fancy things and really good quality stuff. It's about being able to afford them and making good choices in purchasing those things, not just going out and buying them just so that you can have the best stuff, better than other people have or whatever. So that's something that you'll notice. You'll also notice that sales won't mean as much to you unless it's something you were already really looking to purchase. Like, you're not going to, as you develop a frugal mindset and you go into the store, if you see that, I don't know, whatever, something's on sale, buy two, get one free or whatever, and you only needed one, you're not going to go out and spend $15 to buy two and get one free when you could have spent, I'm not going to do the math in my head real quick, but just say $5. I know that's not right. Say $5 to buy the one that you actually needed. Like, you're not going to spend extra money. The dollar example I gave doesn't even make sense. I totally get that. But my point is that you're not going to go out and spend extra money to get something free if you didn't need it in the first place. You're only going to spend the amount of money that you needed for the thing that you wanted. So you'll notice that sales aren't going to mean as much to you. Another thing you'll notice is that you won't feel the need to upgrade your phone after 2 years. I think we've all had that, 2 years is up, my phone's paid off, it's time to get a new one. Like, why? Just because you finished paying your phone, you need to go get yourself a new payment? Your phone works completely fine. If your 2 years wasn't up, you wouldn't even know, and you'd probably still keep using it for another year or two until it dies. So if you're happy with your phone and it works fine, you don't need to go get a new one because 2 years is up and it's time for an upgrade. So you'll notice things like that just start to seem kind of silly. You don't need a new car because you don't have a car payment. If you even had a car payment in the first place, as you become more frugal and you develop this frugal mindset, you're going to want to do things like save up for a car and maybe even buy an older used car that you can fully pay cash for. So you definitely won't be the type of person that feels like, if you even did have a car loan in the first place, that once your car loan is paid off, you need to go out and buy a new car now because, hey, I have that extra money in the budget, I can make a new car payment. That would never cross your mind. You're going to be celebrating that you don't have a car payment and probably trying to do everything you can to never have one again. You'll also get better at finding alternative ways to do things. Have a game night, buy a couple new snacks and drinks to try out, instead of going out to an expensive restaurant or a movie theater. Cleaning my house. I've talked about this before. That was a frugal choice that I made. We used to have a cleaning lady, And at this time in our life, I knew that really wasn't the best use of our money, but we had them for quite a while, and it was really hard decision to ask them to discontinue their services because we had really gotten to know them, and it was just kind of this whole difficult thing. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I really can't afford this. Like, not that I couldn't technically afford it, but if I was going to do that, then I couldn't afford other things that I really wanted to use our resources for. So I started doing research and got some ideas on how to manage housework, like the Fly Lady system and other things like that I talk about on other episodes. And that was a decision that I made. So that was part of having that frugal mindset. Like, I just couldn't see the value in spending that money anymore that I was spending every 2 weeks to have a cleaning person come into my house and do the deep cleaning. You'll also notice that you will start to like stuff less and experiences more. Like, for example, I'd much rather spend $300 to go into New York City and see a play with my kids or my family rather than spending $300 worth of on clothing at the mall or buying like a fancy bag or something like that. Not that I don't love nice bags. I do. My husband calls me the bag lady, but I would never go into a mall and pay like several $100s for an expensive bag. I would either like get one like as a gift, or I'd buy one like used on eBay that's in great condition or whatever. So do you see what I mean though? Like, it's how you look at how you're going to spend your money. Also, for example, going on a hike with your family and packing sandwiches and snacks is more enjoyable to me than blowing a fortune going to like a local theme park. Because you go into the theme park, it's going to be like a fortune to get food, and it's just like, I don't know. The theme parks by us, they're fun, but they're super expensive, and you wait in lines all day, and it's just, I'd rather do something that costs less and is more enjoyable to have a better experience. The exception would be if your local theme park is Disney World or Universal Studios. In those cases, I do love those places. We go on vacation there. Occasionally, we're hopefully planning a vacation to Disney next year. We haven't been there in a while. We love those theme parks, so don't get me wrong. But that, again, that's a frugal decision because we're going to save up for that, and we value those experiences. Another thing you'll notice is you won't mind buying used things. For example, we needed a new patio set. Ours was literally falling apart. We bought it brand new, the original one we had. When we bought it, it was super expensive, and it was wood, and it eventually just kind of started, like, the wood was just rotting. It was falling apart, and we really needed a new one, but I did not have in my budget money to get a new patio set this year, and especially one that would be quality if I was going to buy it new. So we wound up actually finding a patio set in our neighborhood on Facebook Marketplace for $100. It came with 6 chairs, a table. The chairs were like brand new. She threw in cushions for all the chairs for us. She gave us an umbrella stand. So we have a nice patio set now in our backyard for $100. If I had gone out to the store, even if I got like a really cheap patio set, it probably would have been, I don't even know. I'm guessing probably like $300. I don't really know, honestly, what a patio set would cost. But I really doubt that I would have got all of that for $100, and the chairs are like brand new, and it's great. We also bought furniture recently. We bought our kitchen table. We bought a chair for our living room, all in Marketplace, all local, all really inexpensive. And, it's just, those are the types of things you'll think about. And cars, too. I can't even imagine ever buying a new car. Again, if that's something you value, that's totally fine. But to me, I just want I want a good car that's reliable, but I would never go in and buy a brand new car. We usually buy like the certified pre-owned cars, but even older cars too, like buying an older car from someone that's, selling it personally, that's a great option also. So, another thing you will notice is you will waste less food. It'll start to occur to you more that food was money before you purchased food with it. And if you waste food, you are going to have to spend more money to buy more food. So, you'll value more that you need to eat up that food that you have before you go out and buy more. So you'll be more conscious of making sure you use up the food that you have. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about is saving up more. You'll notice that you save up more for things. So for example, I've probably talked about this on other episodes, but one thing that I always save up for is I love the Bath & Body Works products. I love their hand soaps, their lotions, their body wash, but it's expensive if you go in and just purchase it like whenever you need some. So I always buy enough for 6 months at least. I buy all the different seasonal scents and things like that. But I only buy them on their semi-annual sale. So each week throughout the year, I save up a little bit, just like a few dollars, a couple dollars every week, and I save up for the semi-annual sale because they have things like 70% off. And it's not like the latest scent that just came out, but I mean, who cares? Like, I don't know. I don't need to have like the brand new scent that came out, like the coconut scent from last summer is going to be just as good as the new whatever one that came out for this summer. So I save up every week a little bit of money, and when the 6 months comes and the semi-annual sale comes, I go and I stock up. So I have plenty of all of those products that I want for the next 6 months, and I pay like the lowest price I possibly can pay. I mean, you don't get like those types of sale prices as you get at the semi-annual sale if you really go in and just purchase the items that are really, really on clearance. So you'll think more about that too and save up for things so that certain things like that you know you can get a better deal if you save up and wait, you'll take advantage of those. So that's it for today. This episode actually ran a little bit longer than I was thinking it would, so I hope it's not too long. It's something I really love to talk about. So anyway, I'd love to hear your feedback. If you have episode ideas or just comments on any of the shows you've heard, that would be great. I'd love to know what you like, what you don't like. If you want to leave me a review on whatever app you're listening to, if it supports reviews. I know iTunes, you can leave a review if you'd like. That would be great, or any of the other ones that have that feature. You can reach out to me at facebook.com/Lola's Frugal Life. That's all one word, no apostrophe. You can message me there, like the page, leave a comment, whatever. I'd really love to hear from you. There's also a link there to join our private listeners group. I'm just starting to try and build that, so it'd be really nice if you'd like to join. We can talk about different topics on there related to frugal living, productivity, meal planning, cleaning, all those kind of fun things that I love to talk about. So there's a link in the regular Facebook page to join the group. To a link to the group, and then you can submit a request to join the group while you're there. Or if you'd like to go directly to the group page to request to join, there's no questions or anything you have to answer. You just submit a request to join and I'll approve you. You would go to Lola's Frugal Life /groups. I'm sorry. I can't believe I just said that. You would go to facebook.com/groups/Lola's Frugal Life, and you could submit a request to join. So I really hope to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.